Tonight, I walked into my apartment, and my roommate Riley's like, "Hey man, how you doing?" I said, "I'm just living my best life," and he was like, "That's all you can do, man." And I was like, "I know, but I want to." It's a common phrase, right? My best life. But I want to talk about what that really means. And so I want to tell a quick story. You can go back a slide.
Okay.
You're good. I want to go back to like a time in my life. I was thinking about the best moments of my life when I was living my best life, and think about what those moments really were. So in high school, I played on a summer baseball team, and it was an Acme league, and we put in a lot of time. We put in a lot of hard work and a lot of effort, and we were good. We were really good. In fact, we made a run at the state Acme tournament, and we're in the championship game, right? And it's the bottom of the 13th inning. We're playing this really good team who we've lost to before, and there's a runner on second base, 2 outs, and I step into the batter's box. And I get a pitch, and I hit it in between shortstop and third base. It wasn't a great hit, but it got through, and the winning run scored, and we won, walk-off, state championship. And it was like the greatest feeling. I was so excited. I was on cloud 9, we got our medals, we got our trophy, we got to do interviews after the game, like all the little kids wanted to take pictures with us. I was like, man, this is such a great feeling. I'm on cloud 9. I don't know if this feeling's ever going to go away. And it was a feeling that I craved and that I desired and that I worked so hard to get. And then I went home, and the next morning I woke up, and I didn't even, that feeling that I had the night before was gone. I was like, I had to remember what happened the night before. I was like, did something happen last night? And I was like, oh yeah, we won the state championship. Like, that's sweet. But the feeling was gone. It was fleeting. It didn't last. And I think when we think about our best life, your best life, there's certain things we crave, and you can go to the next slide now. It's our best life is a feeling we want, right? It's a feeling we want. It's something we desire, and it's something we chase after. We want that momentary high. We want that cloud 9 feeling, right? That's why you put so much hard work into bowling or into baseball or into wrestling or volleyball. You want that. You want that recognition. You want that, yeah, this is my best life. But the problem is that sometimes happens with our sin. So let me explain real quick. Sometimes, we think our best life can be found in things we do. For example, we have some baseball players in here, right? We think our worth is found and our happiness can be found in how well we play baseball. If I'm just the best baseball player I can be, and I can stand out, I'll be happy and I'll be living my best life. And if I can be the best wrestler, if I can be in the best shape, or if I can get that 4.0, then I can get that status. And I can get influence. And when people look at me, they're like, man, he's living his best life, and that's what I want. Isn't that what we want, right? But the problem with that is it doesn't last. And some of those things, they aren't bad things. Like getting a 4.0 is not a bad thing. Being a really great baseball player or a great bowler, that's not a bad thing. But when our happiness becomes wrapped up in that, that's when it can become a bad thing. And for some of us, our happiness is wrapped up in bad things. For example, maybe your best life is found when you go out with the boys on the weekends, or you go out with your girls, right? Or maybe your best life is when you hook up with that guy or that girl. Maybe that's the feeling you crave. That's living your best life. And those things are definitely things we want to avoid, right? But it's tough to do that when that's what your happiness is wrapped up in. That's your best life, right? So why wouldn't you do it? So the hard part is, you can go to the next slide. The hard part is the things that we think give us life will never deliver fully. The things we think will give us life will never fully deliver. They'll never fully satisfy you. Getting a great grade on your nursing test is great, right? And you may walk out of the classroom with a great grade, but then you have another test, and it's never ending, right? And living your best life, see, we get caught up in choosing things that we think is going to bring us happiness. So I want to go out with the boys on the weekends. That's going to make me happy, right? That's going to bring me happiness. But then, when you tie your happiness to that, it becomes more than a choice. It's something you have to be happy. If your happiness is wrapped up in something, you become dependent on that thing. And so if you're honest with yourself tonight, just ask yourself, what is that thing for you? What is that thing for me? Where's my happiness wrapped up in? Again, it starts as a choice. It starts as something you want. And then when you keep depending on it, it turns into something you need and you can't live without. And that's when those good things like the 4.0 and the status and the influence, that's when those things become really bad for you. Because again, those things will never deliver full happiness to your life. And you may be saying, but those things, they're really not bad for me. They're, what's bad with being a great bowler and finding my happiness and bowling? And if you go to the next slide, Paul addresses this in 1 Corinthians 6:12. I have the right to do anything you say. You say that, I say that. I have the right to do this. Why can't I do this? I have the right to do anything. Paul says not everything is beneficial. I have the right to do it. Paul would say, yeah, but that's not beneficial for your life. I have the right to do anything, but see, I will not be mastered by anything. And when your happiness becomes wrapped up in something, you become mastered by that thing because you need it. To be happy, you're dependent on it, like I said. And I think, if we look down in the core of our hearts, we've all been mastered by this idea. And this idea is that our best life is all about us. So we think that my best life is all about me. It makes sense, right? My best life is all about me. I'll control my happiness. I'll dictate the outcomes of certain things. I'll make sure I'm happy. I'll look out for me. I mean, it makes sense, right? I'll make it happen. I'll figure it out. I'll control my satisfaction. It's all on me. And that's wrong. But that's something a lot of us have bought into, including myself, in certain areas of my life. And that's why this has been hard this week, this message. Because Jesus says, if you go to the next slide, Jesus says in John 10:10, the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. But I have come that they may have life. They is you, they is me. That they may have life and have it abundantly. And isn't that what we all want? Don't we all want abundant life? I mean, that's what we're seeking. And this is what Jesus is saying, that abundant life comes through me and me alone. If Jesus were here tonight, that's what he would tell you. He would tell you, stop looking in those places for abundant life for life. That's never going to fulfill you. That's never going to satisfy you. I can't, though. I can give you that abundant life that you're looking for, that you're craving, that you're chasing after. See, we won't find abundant life in our 4.0s. We won't find abundant life making the dean's list, or we won't find abundant life in a relationship with a significant other. That's not where life comes from. Life comes from Jesus. And maybe you're sitting there and you're like, I kind of disagree. My life feels pretty abundant right now. And I'm doing some of those things you talked about. My happiness is wrapped up in some other things besides Jesus. And I'm doing fine. Ryan, I'm living my best life right now. And I don't even know Jesus. But here's what you'll probably find out in the future, if you haven't found out now, is that sin can satisfy you for a season. But eventually, you're going to wake up, like I did after we won the state championship. You're going to wake up, and you're going to look in the mirror and say, where did that feeling go? I thought thought that feeling was going to last. But lasting happiness, abundant life comes from Jesus. Because, like this says, when you follow Christ, your happiness doesn't come from what you do. It's not wrapped up in something that you can create for yourself. Your happiness comes from what Christ has done for you. Maybe you'd say, Christ really hasn't done anything for me. My life's not super great right now. But if we look in the Bible, we see that Jesus paid it all for your life. For you specifically, sitting there. Jesus paid his life for your life. You know, something is worth only how much someone's willing to pay for it. Right? So that chair, its value is how much Thomas is willing to pay for it. Thomas, how much would you be willing to pay for that chair? $5. That's pretty good. Okay. Your value is based on how much Jesus was willing to pay for you. And how much was Jesus willing to pay for your life? Everything. Literally. He crawled up on a cross, he let himself be crucified for you because he loves you. Because he wanted to pay that for you because that's how much you mean to him. Romans 5:8 says, but God demonstrates his love for us in this, while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. He's paid it all for you. And if he were here tonight, he would look you in your eyes and he would just shake you and say, listen, stop going to those places to find life. You won't find life there. But I will give it to you freely. Abundant life comes when you're willing to put your trust in Jesus, when you're willing to put your faith in Jesus, when you're willing to accept who you are, who Jesus is, and what he's done for you. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. We're sinners. Christ was perfect and he died for us. And that's when you realize that, when your happiness becomes wrapped up in something is already given. You don't have to earn every single day. It changes your life. It really does. So I challenge you, where you're at tonight, wherever you're at tonight, just take a look at your life and say, where am I going for my happiness? Where do I think abundant life comes from? Maybe it's time for you to plant a flag in your life and say, you know what? It's time for me to go to Jesus for my abundant life. I'm not being fulfilled by these other things. And if that's you, talk to me after this. I'd love to have that conversation with you. And Christians, even if you already have a relationship with Jesus, there's still areas of our life where we find happiness and satisfaction, right, that are outside of Jesus. And those are things we need to improve on and work on. So nobody here is clear. We all have things, right? So that's all I have for you tonight. Really just, I want you guys to be honest with yourselves about where you're at. You can pretend. You can only pretend to other people. You know. You can't pretend with yourself. You can't pretend with God. So I'm going to close in prayer, and then Chloe just brought the pizza. Perfect timing, Chloe. Please close your eyes, bow your heads. Dear Father, thank you again for this evening. Thank you for all these people. Help us to realize that abundant life is only found in Jesus, who is the way, the truth, and the life. And help us just to be really honest with ourselves. And to maybe go home tonight, look in the mirror and say, where am I going for my happiness? Where am I finding life? Because we know our best life is found in you, Father. And we thank you for everything you've done for us. Bless the pizza. Help it to be really good. In your name, Lord Jesus.